Hey, this is Eddie Olczyk. You're listening to Empty Betters with Nick, Mac, and Harrison.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to episode 120 of Empty Betters. I'm your host, Harrison Scholes, and I'm going to toss it across the screen to my co-host and sound technician, Nick Manella. What's going on, buddy?
I think you can say at this point that we're both sound technicians, and Mac, doing all his radio stuff. I would say we're a sound technician podcast. I wouldn't hire us, but we can make sound.
I've learned more about adapters, audio jacks, and input cables than I've ever thought I would in my life. We'll explain to you guys why here in a short moment, but before we do, I'm going to toss it up in Wisco to Mac Vogel. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
I didn't hear that crack as
me
loud
neither.
as I thought I would.
Oh, seriously?
We've got some ghost cracks on this podcast.
Yeah, there was that one that Nick had a couple weeks ago.
I think because they're just so loud and so forceful
that the mic doesn't know what to do with the sound. So
yeah, you're opening like a canned avalanche from the Rockies.
Yeah, the mountains are always blue, eh?
Yeah, it's cold in the Rockies.
You got Coors over there. I didn't even know. I just took a guess. How you doing?
Doing good. I just got back from a little cup of coffee trip in DC. I was only there for about 72 hours, but managed to catch a pretty good Caps game and a pretty good Mets game. Fuck the Nationals.
Amen.
Yeah, it was a good little trip.
I am super stoked to talk to you guys about the Caps, just to see the 180 that we've done in this span of 7 calendar days. So that should definitely be fun. But as we alluded to just now, Nick and myself were over at Nick's house over the weekend. 1, watching the Penguins get absolutely obliterated. That was awesome. And then 2, and more importantly, we were test driving some live recording equipment that we just purchased off of Amazon. And we will be up in Milwaukee, Nick and I, to visit Mac and our intern Jackson, not this weekend, but the following weekend, the weekend of April 22nd. We will be doing a live podcast from Milwaukee in an Airbnb with potentially some special interview guests coming on the way. Can't confirm that just yet. We're trying to nail it down, but we are super pumped to be doing some live pods in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited.
Same.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get back to Blue Bat Tavern.
I'm excited to go. I can't wait until we bring them your t-shirt. I want to nail it up to the rafters in the bar.
Yeah, you want to talk about the t-shirt coming?
Yeah, so we have some t-shirts coming. I think I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna tease it a little bit until we drop the designs online. So keep an eye out on our social pages for that in the next couple of weeks. But one of them does have something to do with Harrison and Blue Bat Cantina or Kitchen, whatever it's called.
Is it Blue Bat Kitchen or Tavern? I don't even know.
It's Blue Bat Kitchen and Tequileria. That's the full name, but people call it BBK, Blue Bat Kitchen.
We picked every other name for a bar. I had Cantina. He had
Tavern,
Kitchen, Tap Room.
Yeah.
Did I call it Blue Bat Tavern? I think I might have.
I think you did.
Holy shit.
It's all good.
Those people who own that restaurant have no idea how much of an impact they've had on the show.
Honestly, they have no clue.
Between them and Don't Know, we need some type of sponsorship or free
AA,
drink deal.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Or that. Yeah, it all really applies.
That kind of sounds like a whole thing though.
But yeah, lots of fun stuff coming up before the end of the month. Live podcasts up in Milwaukee. New merchandise dropping on the store. We'll tweet and Instagram that out when it's done. Thank you, Siren, for interrupting me. I'm sure you guys can hear that. But Mac, I'm going to toss it off to you for question of the day.
Yeah. So, since we're talking about sports and Milwaukee, I just want to keep it totally on topic by asking you guys, what is your least favorite topping?
Topping.
On what?
Just topping. That's it. That's
good.
In general, we're not specifying. I'm not talking hot dogs. I'm not necessarily talking burgers or tacos. Just in general, what is one topping that you cannot do? Can't stand?
I have a really good one, but it's really specific.
Could be a condiment. Could be diced onions or some shit. I don't know. Whatever just comes to mind that you fucking hate.
Harry, you got one?
Not yet. I think you got one fired up more than I do.
I'm going to go ahead and say like anchovies. So not like a big anchovy on pizza guy. I think that's absolutely immoral and a crime and wrong in so many ways. But more importantly, like when you're at a nice steakhouse and they bring out like a Caesar salad, like if you're doing like a surf and turf Caesar salad kind of thing, and they don't tell you that it has anchovies like on the salad and they bring it out, nothing like kills me like that.
So what's interesting about that is, are you aware that Caesar dressing naturally has like the fish eggs and all that in there?
Yep,
but
and
you're
totally
talking
fine.
about,
I'm talking about the little fish
separate
itself.
Okay, gotcha. That's good. It's a good.
This is a weird one, and it's funny you mentioned this because I was just making something over the weekend with my girlfriend that contained this. I was like, do not put this in my my salad. I fucking hate cherry tomatoes, man. I do not like them.
Interesting.
But here's the weird thing. I like tomatoes, like regular ones where they're sliced, but I can't stand like there's just
tomato by itself.
And you get all the skin and then all the water in it.
I am the exact same way because it's like Cafe Rio. We had Cafe Rio for lunch on Saturday. I dumped that pico all over my tacos. But like, if you just want me to sit there and eat a tomato, I think it's disgusting.
The cherry tomatoes is very hit or miss for me. Like if they are the perfect amount of ripe, like occasionally I'll have one and I'm like, wow, that was like delicious. Like you can taste all the flavors. It's like how it was meant to be. But like I'd say 80% of the time, and this is actually unfortunately, I feel like tomatoes in general, there's like a really small window of like when they're good. And I mean, tons of times I'll get a burger and the tomato on there, you're just like, I'm ditching this. Is not right. Like that tomato is just fucked up. So
it's got to pass the eye test. Like, you know, we have an eye test.
Color. Yep.
I'm not a big cherry tomato guy. I really like pineapple on pizza, but if you ask me to put pineapple on like other shit, no, I'm not about it. I also love anchovies and sardines. I love all that
my
stuff.
answer is horseradish.
Oh, that was gonna be my next one.
It's so just like and don't get me wrong, I love spicy food. So it's not about the fact that it's like kind of spicy. It's just the flavor. Like same thing with wasabi, which I think they're basically like the same thing, right?
I was gonna ask you that.
I can't do it, dude. There's something about that particular flavor that just makes me want to throw up. And like, even if it's like one of them spicy mustards that's kind of horseradishy, I can't even do that. Like if there's a hint of that horseradishy flavor, I can't do it.
So same as you, but like I'm fine with wasabi. Horseradish for me is one of those things where it's like, you know, that one bad experience and then never again.
Yeah.
There was a time maybe early on in my college days, maybe had something to do with a fraternity where I will never ever put horseradish near my mouth ever again.
For sure. Yeah.
I love horseradish. It's in cocktail sauce too, isn't it?
Fine in cocktail sauce, just not by itself.
I'm fine with that in small doses. Like if I'm eating shrimp, like I'll dip it in the cocktail sauce. And now I'm not gonna like dunk it in there and get like a big load of it, but like I'm down for a little dipsy do, you know. But
interesting. I don't even know if cherry tomato is considered a topping. There's really nothing I don't like.
Well, that's why I left it open-ended. I just think it's a funny question to not specify just what's your least favorite topping. But I'm also not a picky eater either. So this is a hard one. But that's like the one thing that I just can't do.
Last question. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
It's absolute moral sin.
And
you are both going to jail.
I love Hawaiian pizza.
My
with
favorite.
The pineapple and the ham, fucking good.
Phenomenal.
So good.
Nick's gone. See ya.
Nick just
all
quit.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's roll. I'm just kidding. Nick actually almost walked off set there, but
you might not want to leave yet because we're about to talk about you winning a bet against Harry. So.
I did win a bet against Harry.
Yeah. So before we get to that, let's obviously present our sponsor, Brackish Life. You know the drill. Episode 120 is brought to you by Brackish Life. Let's take a minute to talk about Brackish Life. If you're like us and grew up on the water and outdoors, then Brackish Life is perfect for you. They have a wide selection of gear from UV shirts to hoodies and hats. It's Real Bay apparel made by Real Bay people. Head to www.brackish.life today to check them out. A little salty, a little fresh Brackish Life. Now, you guys know the drill. The second half of the ad read is always about Rink to Reef, right? You've heard me say it a million times. I do want to mention Kyle, the owner of Brackish Life, posted an awesome video on Facebook of Rink to Reef actually getting some light shed on it at the Capitals practice facility. They definitely, you know how we always talk about hockey sticks with oyster restoration habitats. Well, we're going to share the video on our socials, but you can see it real time in real life. I can't remember the Caps player that was looking at it. Was it Orlov?
I think it was Eller and Orlov that were in there.
Yeah. They were checking out the oyster habitats, obviously from hockey sticks. So Brackish Life doing great stuff. We'll share that on all the socials. You guys can go watch it, check it out. Pretty cool, neat stuff from Kyle. We appreciate him tagging us in that. So
yeah, they're doing some awesome things down in on the water in the Eastern Shore in Maryland, just really giving back to that community, which, as you guys know from growing up here, is a big part of what makes this state what it is.
It is. And, regardless if you're a Marylander listening or not, if you're in the market for some UV protection for the upcoming summer, you got a beach trip plan, you get sunburnt real easy, don't feel like lathering up in lotion all the time. They've got the best performance long sleeves and short sleeves in the game. Incredible material, great hats. Go check out their website, www.brackish.life, and go check it out. Nick, I'm going to let you guide us on the college hockey talk.
Sure.
You're the expert and beat me.
I did. Took me 2 tries, but I got there. We want to say congrats to the University of Denver Pioneers on winning the 2022 NCAA Men's Division I Hockey Championship. The Pioneers were down 1-0 going into the third against, I would say, a heavily favored Minnesota State team, and then exploded with 3 unanswered goals to win the game 3-1. It's their 9th NCAA title, which ties them with Michigan for the most all time.
Didn't they win like 5-1 with a couple empty netters or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. But it wasn't.
It was not a 5-1.
Was it?
Game.
No.
Yeah.
Was it actually 5-1?
I think that was the final score. Yeah. But we would also like to take this time to officially announce that we are a Denver hockey podcast.
I would say so.
I don't know. I love that team. I can't explain why. I was rooting for them the whole tournament pretty much. I think I said it when we were announcing the earlier rounds that I was pulling for that team, but great hockey school colors, great jerseys, just something about that team that just
definitely
hard not to root for.
Give them the fun hockey team stamp. They're fun to watch.
Absolutely.
I apologize because I'm the one who actually generated this news line for us to talk about. It was 5-1, not 3-1. I fell asleep when it was. I could have sworn I read 3-1 somewhere. Truth be told, I fell asleep during the game. Shocker.
I'm not gonna lie to you. After 2 periods, when Denver was down 1-0, I was like, "There's no way. Like, there's no way
it's over.
They're going to get shut out. The final score is going to be like 2-0, maybe 3-0 with an empty net or 2." They had nothing, man. Like, they could not even generate scoring chances. And then they got 1 lucky goal because they just kept trying to fire the puck to the net, and Minnesota State just collapsed. So.
They did. And the momentum just flipped. I mean, they couldn't do anything afterwards. It looked like they couldn't skate. It just took the life right out of them.
It sort of reminded me of like the Canadians when they lost, or not the Montreal Canadiens, but like the Canadian hockey team when they lost to USA last year after they had just not faced like any adversity, because what they were saying about this Minnesota State team is like they had never lost a game after being up after 2 periods. Like they've never once coughed up a lead in the 3rd period. So they didn't even know what it was like to do that. And so all of a sudden when they cough up the lead, and it's a tie game, and then like a minute later they're losing 2-1. You're like, oh shit, like what's the game plan? We don't even know how to react to something like this, and it showed.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to win, you got to learn how to lose. That's something that I think all of us have dealt with at some time in our sports career. Speaking of college, let's talk about Dryden McKay, the Minnesota State goaltender, real quick. He won the 2022 Hobie Baker Award the night of the championship game. Throughout his college career, 4 years of NCAA hockey, he finishes with 140 games played, a 1.46 GAA, a 9.32 save percentage, and 26 shutouts.
All of that, and I feel like he would just trade it all for a better 3rd period in the national championship.
Probably, and we're talking about this. This is going to go down as one of the greatest college hockey careers as a goaltender ever, and the guy is undrafted.
Yeah,
you would definitely think someone would scoop. It's hard to look at that stat and think they were up 1-0 and lost 5-1. It's kind of crazy to me.
26 shutouts. He's lost fewer games through his college career than he had shutouts.
Yeah,
I forget what they were saying. I think he had like 3 the first year or something like that, and then after that it was like 8, 10, and 10 or something like that. Like he just freaking
There was
went off.
Last year he only played 26 games. He had 10.
Yeah, that's
hey, went off. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I kind of wish they would hold off announcing this, especially if the guy who won it is playing in the championship game until after it's over. I just feel like it could be a distraction. I hate when they do that with the Heisman too. It just kind of throws it all off, in my opinion.
That's fair. I know why they do it in college. It's something to put in between the semifinals and like what the 2 weeks they give for the national championship or something. But I agree. It's definitely something that they need to be better at. Speaking of college, again, some notable players ended up signing their ELCs this past week and leaving their schools. Those big names are Owen Power, the first overall pick to Buffalo, Kent Johnson to the Columbus Blue Jackets, Matty Beniers to the Kraken, and Bobby Brink, who just won a national championship with Denver, is coming to Philly. Brink, Beniers, and Power should all make their NHL debuts tonight, Tuesday, the 12th of April. And then Harry, we had a little wager on this one.
Yeah, I know. You said that Michigan wouldn't make it to the Frozen Four, and then once they did, I doubled down and said they're going to win the national championship. Obviously, Denver killed that. So yeah, I lost.
That overtime was unbelievable. Also,
that game was unbelievable.
That game was unbelievable. Just so people know when they're listening to what Nick just said, Bobby Brink's electric. I hate that he's a Flyer, but I'm sure Philly's going to love him. Kent Johnson, I would probably say, is the closest thing you'll see to Zegras in terms of creativity, hand, skill level. He's got that crafty Datsuk Zegras type vibe to him.
Out of all those guys, he's the most NHL ready, I think.
Yeah, and he's going to be in Columbus. Owen Power, last year's first overall pick, is going to be playing tonight, last night when you're listening to this, Buffalo versus Toronto. And Matty Beniers, one of the best players on the U.S. Olympic squad this past year. He's getting his shot in Seattle. So real exciting stuff for all the guys.
Yeah, I would expect Johnson and Beniers to finish the year with those teams, but you never know.
Yeah, I think if not all four, I don't know. I mean, I kind of think what's the point of bringing them up if you're not going to let them play? Like that's the
true. I mean, they might have other, prospects that they want to give a game or two here or there if they're already done.
They also are probably going to want to make sure they don't get too many games because if they get more than 10 or whatever,
they get paid. They got to pay them. Yeah,
and it counts as a year.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. I think that pretty much wraps up the college hockey talk. But Nick, I know you have a word about the news around the NHL coming up here.
I do. So Ryan Getzlaf has announced that he's retiring at the end of this season. That's 17 seasons, all of them with the Anaheim Ducks. A ton of people took to the internet to express their feelings on this. I mean, this is a guy that's been around hockey since I feel like I can remember. It's just crazy to think of the NHL without Ryan Getzlaf. One of the things we do want to insert, we're going to insert the audio from Corey Perry right here, just talking about his former teammate. And I think it really says everything you need to say about Ryan Getzlaf as a person.
He's meant everything. We were drafted together. We came in together. We didn't live together, but we might as well have. We did everything together when we first came in, and to see what he's done in that organization, to put his stamp on it, and to finally call it a career, it sucks, but things come to an end. I couldn't ask for more from him because he got me to where I am, and he made a lot of passes, and I put him in the open net. Getsy, everything that you've done, like I just said, from a family man to a close friend. Congratulations on a great career, and good luck with everything.
Harry, I know this is one of your favorite players. So what was your first initial reaction when you saw this?
Yeah, it's sad for me because it really makes me feel like I'm getting old at this point, right? I think my first NHL video game was NHL 2002. Getzlaf got drafted in 2003. And it's just, now you've seen the full cycle of when you started your fandom, and now it's over, right?
Yeah.
It's so weird to me.
There's moments you go through in your life, watching sports. It's you get to that moment where you're like, fuck, college athletes are older than I am now. And then you get to that moment where you're like, fuck, pro athletes are older than I am now. And then it's just over and that's it.
You mean younger?
What?
You mean younger or older? Younger.
Younger.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then your favorite players, your first favorite players start to retire. And like Harrison was saying, it's kind of that vicious cycle, but it's also the part of the beauty of it. So
I, for one, will be a huge Ryan Getzlaf fan. I know, Mac, I think you've mentioned this before, but you weren't maybe a huge fan of him just because you always thought he was like super Canadian, which
I got a lot of respect for the guy. Don't get me wrong. He's an unbelievable NHL player, and I'll definitely miss seeing him in the NHL. I won't miss playing against him. I won't miss watching the Caps play against him, rather. He's a son of a bitch to play against, but that just speaks to the kind of player he was too. So
they don't make hockey players like this anymore.
So what I'm about to say is like borderline sacrilegious as a Penguins fan to say, but I've always had a sweet spot for big right-handed guys who can like shoot, score, hit, fight. When I grew up, my dad always like gravitated towards those kind of players. And then I naturally did. Iginla was one of them. Ryan Getzlaf, I've talked about him a number of times. He was one of them. Getzlaf was one of them. I hate to say it, but like the last one left is kind of Tom Wilson. Like, and I don't love Tom Wilson because he's a Capital, but if he was on any other team. Huh?
Who?
Tom Wilson. I'm not saying
elite NHL goal scorer Tom Wilson.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I was confused for a second.
But he's like the last one left, which pains me because I can't like him. I wish I could like him, but I can't. But yeah, in terms of Getsy, sneaky, one of the best shootout guys. Always had great hands, big, powerful slap shot. Got his cup. I wish he would have gotten a second one. That 2007 Ducks team was kind of electric, in my opinion.
Unbelievable leader too. I mean,
yeah,
that's a guy that you can tell the mark he's left on that Ducks locker room.
So I saw something swirling on the internet, like, is he a Hall of Famer? And I could not understand how people would even ask this question.
2 gold medals and a Stanley Cup, 17 seasons with one team. Yeah.
Stanley Cup, captain for over 10 years, 1,000 games, 1,000 points. I'm like, what are you smoking something? Like,
it's the fact that he played in Anaheim for 17 years. Had he played in Toronto, they already would have built the statue.
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying Hall of really good and stuff like that, like just below or whatever. But I don't know. I'm sold. I think he is.
Wait, I feel like we need a Hall of really good because there's like a ton of players that are right on the edge.
There's definitely a lot of players like that like maybe didn't win a cup but had a shitload of points, shitload of games, stuff like that. We'll have to come together and come up with a little short list for that sometime.
You know, looking back, it's kind of crazy the Ducks never won a cup in that like 2010 to 2016 era. They were so stacked, them and the Canucks every single year.
And even after they lost like some of their older guys, like after Niedermayer moved on, like they had Henrique when he was young. That year they went to the playoffs against the Oilers. They had like DSP was on that team. Emerson Edom was on that team. They had a lot of like young guys that just like to score in the playoffs.
Who was their goalie after Giguère and before Gibson, wasn't it?
Jonas Hiller.
Yeah, okay. Jonas Hiller. Yeah,
he was like super good for like 2 years, and then he just disappeared.
Yeah. He pulled a Tim Thomas.
Basically.
Literally.
Yeah,
he basically did. But yeah, in my opinion, I think Getsy's a Hall of Famer for whatever that's worth. Last thing I'll note, one of the guys who made Easton super cool in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. Just him, Danny Heatley, those iconic guys with like the S17s will forever live in my heart. And I got a lot of love for the OG Synergy boys. So
of course, how can you not?
Stick nerd over here, but
just a little bit. Auston Matthews officially scored 51 goals in 50 games this season on Saturday against the Montreal Canadiens. My question to you guys is he the unanimous MVP candidate at this point in the season?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, yeah. Will he be unanimous? There's going to be a couple people who throw McDavid in there.
Yeah.
But rightfully so. Maybe a couple Igors, maybe a couple Hubertos, but Matthews he's different right now, too.
I still think some like dusty old school Canadian guy is going to be like defense wins championships and throw Yossi some votes, but
probably
I think at this point, you know, it's a goal scoring league. Just give it to him.
Yeah, it's unreal what the dude is doing. And it's funny, I was talking to my dad about this past week because some of these feats that he's accomplishing were happening while I was with him. And he made a good point. He was like, out of all the people in the NHL that are left that will still be playing once Ovi retires, let's say for a second that Ovi does beat Gretzky's record. My dad was like, there's one guy in the NHL that I think could then maybe beat Ovi's record, and it's Matthews. And I don't necessarily disagree with that.
No, the talent is. Yep.
He's sick.
Yeah.
So he's the first player in the salary cap era to do 50 and 50. The last 5 players to do 50 and 50 are Cam Neely, Alexander McGillney, Mario Lemieux, Teemu Solani, and now Auston Matthews. Pretty
Jesus
wild
Christ.
company.
Yeah, good company for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
so he's must-watch television. Any night the Leafs are on, you gotta flick him on, man. He's too good to watch.
Yeah, it's good that he's going to win MVP because that team's not getting anything else this year. Anyways, Doug Wilson has announced he is stepping down as the GM of the San Jose Sharks after 19 years with the organization. He said in his statement that he's stepping down to focus on health. So I want to send best wishes to him and his family. Hope everything is okay. What did you guys think about this one? This kind of caught me off guard. It's like, let me take this team that I built and then ruined, and okay, now you guys can play with it.
It's a weird one for sure. I think I saw some stuff online, and I don't want to say this like it's set in stone because it very well may not be true, but I saw some speculation that it could have something to do with alcohol addiction. So if that's the case, then obviously you got to do what you got to do, whether you've been with the team for 20 years, 5 years, 1 year, whatever. It's, you got to respect somebody putting their health first. So if that's whatever the concern is, he did say it was for his health or whatever. So, whatever it may be, I don't want to speculate too much, but definitely wishing him the best. And hopefully the Sharks can figure out what their path is moving forward too, because that's a team that needs a little bit of a direction, I think.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. The Buffalo Sabres broke the NHL record for longest playoff drought. That is at 11 seasons now. I cannot wait to see what it looks like when they get back into the playoffs. Hopefully that happens a little bit sooner rather than later. The NHL announced this at 3:30 this afternoon. That's just over 4 hours ago. They have pushed back a scheduled matchup between the Kraken and the Winnipeg Jets as a winter storm sweeps through southern Manitoba. Including nearly 20 inches of snow and wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour. So they're going to move this game, which is slated for Wednesday, the day that you guys will be listening to this, to May 1st at 1 p.m. Central Time.
It's 70 degrees here.
It was 80 degrees this afternoon in Maryland. And
even in Wisconsin, it was like 55 and sunny today. So
doesn't make sense to me.
God damn it.
Canada's different, man.
Yeah. The Montreal Canadiens are now officially the most injured team of all time. They have lost over 680 man games lost and counting. They're going to obliterate the previous record of 629, which was held by the 2003 LA Kings.
Wild stat. Where did you find this one?
That's nuts.
It's like a Twitter account for Caps fans that want Penguins fans to stop using this as an excuse.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. What's it called? I think I need to have a word.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a really wild stat. I never would. I mean, I guess I could have guessed that, but I never would have guessed that, like I would have had no idea what the record is.
I have no idea who cooked that one up. It was a good old fashioned Twitter find this afternoon, but
it's on the internet, so it must be true.
Exactly. You said it. Let's go ahead to asshole of the week. I would like to highlight the entire arena staff at Scotiabank Arena. That's where the Leafs play. Apparently Nick Suzuki, this was in last week's Leafs Habs matchup, went to toss a puck to a young fan over the glass who was wearing a Habs jersey. Kid didn't catch the puck, kind of busted him in the mouth, dinged up his lip a little bit, he's a young kid, hockey guy, he toughs it out. So Suzuki feels bad, comes over and gives him a stick. The kid is then told he can either throw the stick away or leave the arena because the stick is considered a weapon and he can't sit there and watch the game with it.
Listen,
as if this doesn't happen in every NHL arena on every single night, somebody gives somebody their stick and they sit there with the fucking stick because it's not a big deal.
Right.
Can you bring a stick into the arena? No. So technically, are you supposed to have it? No, I get it. But don't be a fucking dick. This happens every single game. Somebody gives away their stick.
Right.
Just let it be, dude. It's not a weapon. They're not asking a player on the ice for a stick so that they can cause an atrocity in the arena. Like
a 10-year-old isn't going to go assault concession stand worker bust open the register and book it out of like the G Street exit with 4 bands in his backpack. That's not how this works.
Or at the very least, if it's like, okay, like maybe they're like, hey, we have to hold that like behind the little like gate or whatever. We'll give it to you after the game, but you just can't have it like in the stands.
That's what I'm saying.
Even
There's not some there's not a temporary spot you can put it so you can pick it up after the game. I mean, shit, you want to follow a protocol, at least
pass it to the trainer. The guy's going to sign it at intermission. You can pick it up when you leave. Boom, home run.
Yeah.
Douchebags.
Speaking of no.
Anyways, it's time to move on to the next part of the episode. But before we do, we just want to remind everyone that summer may be over, but there's still never been a better time to get out on the water. Are you looking to finance that new boat or yacht you've always dreamed of? Well, you're in luck, because the Yacht Lender is a specialist in marine finance. With partnerships with 15 different banks, he has the right lender for whatever vessel you may be in the market for. Backed by Trident Funding with over 25 years as an industry leader, the Yacht Lender has the expertise and know-how to finance the boat of your dreams. Don't wait. Apply today at yachtlender.com or check him out on Instagram at yachtlender to see others who have already gotten out on the water. Harry, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you for our 3 stars of the week.
Sure. So number 1, we've got Auston Matthews, 7 goals, 4 assists in 4 games played. Second star of the week, we got John Carlson of the Caps. We got 3 goals, 5 assists in 3 games played. In the third star of the week, we have Jonathan Huberdeau of the Florida Panthers with 3 goals, 4 assists in 3 games played. I would not disagree with any of those. Let's do a little around the league chat. So Drew Doughty undergoes wrist surgery, done for the season. That is huge. I think the Kings are fucked.
I'd like to retract and change my Kings Oilers series matchup prediction.
Oh, okay. Now you want to change it.
But you can't tell me that like Doughty being out wouldn't affect your
that.
Yeah.
I said, but you still said it.
Mine. True.
You're not changing yours.
All right, I'll stick with it.
Mr. Manila, I'm not letting you off that
Blake,
easy.
Blake Lazat, I'm looking at you. Come on, buddy. You can do it.
Yeah, die on the sword, man. Come on. That's what we got to do around here. This is huge.
Fuck the Oilers. They're still not winning that series.
Oilers are absolutely winning that. All right, this year we're doing it again, but I think instead of betting the book, I'm just going to go Mac, like straight up. I think we'll just do Kings v Oilers.
Sounds
winner
good.
take
Free
it.
money,
I'll hop in with Mac and give you 2-1. How about that?
Okay, I'm down with it. We'll do that. So Doughty out for the year for the Kings. Oof. Pittsburgh Penguins of Evgeny Malkin suspended 4 games for the cross-check to the face of Predators Mark Borowiecki. I almost got it. Thoughts on this before me, the biased Penguins fan, steps in?
I mean, here's the thing. There's been like 3 or 4 plays that were pretty much identical to this year, right? The cross-check to the mouth. They've all gotten pretty similar punishments, if I'm not mistaken. They've all gotten at least a game or 2. I don't know if I'd like to have those specific suspensions in front of me, because I remember Matthews did it. I don't think he got 4. I think he got 2 or something.
I think he got 1. Was it 1 or 2? I can't remember.
I thought it was 2.
I'm not
His
sure.
looked worse in my
Either
opinion,
way, that's kind of my thing on it, though. I'm not really sure what makes any of them different from each other. So that is one thing. Is it worthy of a suspension? I think, yeah. Should it be 4 when the other ones were 2 or 1? Probably not. They should probably just all be the same, whether they're all 4 or whether they're all 2. I think 2 honestly makes sense to me, but
I think 2 would be fair.
We're just going to get to a point where it's like if you cross-check someone in the mouth, it's going to be like a just flat 2 games, and it starts there. It's like then if you jump on top of them, it goes up to like 4 or something like that. I just feel like that's the road we're headed down.
Well, a lot of Penn's Twitter was comparing it to the Matthews cross-check, which in my opinion looked way more violent than this did. I think it's just unfortunate that I'm just going to call him Mark because I can't pronounce that last name.
I will say Borowiecki or whatever, that guy is a son of a bitch. And
he is, yeah.
He has made a lot of people in the league this year pay, and he kind of had it coming to him.
I think it's unfortunate that, he got bloodied in the mouth and lost a bunch of teeth. Had that not happened, I don't know if we're talking 4. I think it's worth mentioning when comparing Matthews' incident to Malkin's. Malkin is a repeat offender. He nearly decapitated one of the Caps players in 2019, I think. Remember, he took his samurai sword and just fucking swung it. that happened. If anything,
he's a hothead. He's like the
he's a complete hothead.
Number one guy that, like, if you get under this guy's skin in the slightest way, you can just take him off his game for the entire game.
It's a free 2 minutes for the impending hook slash or trip that comes afterwards.
It's easy to get this guy pissed off. It's way too easy.
It is too easy. And Letang might even be easier, which is the sad part. Here's what I will also say. I am shocked. Well, you guys are going to, I'm shocked, but you guys are going to be like, oh, Crosby didn't get a game for the punch to the head. So who was it? Ferravari or Eller? I can't remember.
It was Dowd.
Yeah, he hit Dowd.
Dowd, my bad.
Which Dowd is way better than Crosby, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that tweet was fucking hysterical.
Mac, you've been on a roll on Twitter.
It wasn't supposed to be funny. I'm dead serious. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good one. But yeah, we have 8 games left. Malkin's out for half of them. I would imagine an appeal is coming. We'll see what happens. So Casey Cizikas is also suspended for a game for boarding Hurricanes defenseman Brendan Smith. That's also a big piece missing for the Isles because they basically need everything to go right and run the table to make the playoffs. So
it's a big loss for him.
It is a big loss for him. And now we're going to get into the gambling action. But before we do, I think Mac has a word from our sponsor, SharpBrink.
Sure do. Yeah, just wanted to remind you that this season, all of our picks are powered by SharpRank. SharpRank created the first ever cross-sports rating system, ranking bettors from any sport on one leaderboard that anyone can dominate, even you. SharpRank is backed by some of the biggest names in the sports gambling world, such as BetMGM, Betway, and Sports Illustrated. Download the free app for iPhone and Android today. And let's get to the gambling. However, before we do, I just want to mention that Matt Irwin, of all people, just rocked a 100-mile-per-hour shot off the crossbar in this Caps Flyers game, and I think that's hilarious. It did not go in.
Wow. Ovi has the goal, I think, by the way, 1-0 Caps.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
Banked it off of Hart's butt.
I got the over in that game. So, Mac, why don't you lead us off?
Sure, would love to. So let's see what we got here. Playoff clinching scenarios for 412. That's where we're starting here, right?
Yep, for tonight.
Tuesday, 412, last night when they're listening.
Got it. So the Lightning are in if they beat Dallas tonight, or the Penguins defeat the Islanders in regulation. So if one or both of those things happens, then the Bolts are in officially. Bruins are in if they beat St. Louis and the Penguins beat the Islanders in any fashion, or if they get 1 point against the Blues and the Penguins defeat the Islanders in regulation. The Pittsburgh Penguins win against the Islanders tonight in any fashion, and they're in, I believe.
Correct.
And they're in. So we got a lot rolling tonight. Last night.
I think, these are the ones for the East. The East is pretty much set, if not close to set in stone. It's just a term of in what order. The West is the one we're going to have to keep our eyes on for these in the next coming weeks. So
definitely. And I will say that, like you said, it's pretty much all but done. The Caps, basically with their last 3 games, silenced any of the rumblings that the Islanders might be able to catch up to them. I don't think that's happening anymore.
I was the rumblings. It was just me. So,
yeah.
Nobody else had rumblings. But yeah, I think now it's all about seeding. So I already know the answer Mac's going to have. Would you rather play the Rangers or the Panthers in the first round?
Panthers.
By far the Panthers.
Absolutely.
By far.
I think that's a popular answer because they got the most weight on their shoulders. The Rangers they're good. And they have a good goalie. And the Panthers, Bob looked great at the start of the year, but he has not been sharp lately. I'll give him that.
I do think that there's a way. I think there's a world where the Caps win either of those series, but I just personally feel more confident currently about the Panthers. The one team I don't want at any point in the playoffs, if we can just avoid this one fucking team, it's the Boston Bruins. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
The Caps do not play well against that team, which I can't fucking believe we won that game the other day, but
great. Yeah. Lock of the week didn't turn out so hot. But in your defense, you told us before and you're like, I got a weird feeling now. It's hard to predict games 5 days in advance.
It is.
It really is.
And who saw the Caps going on a heater before that too? I certainly didn't. So.
Not I, sir. Mac, you've been saying this for a while. Just the fact that if you think the Caps could win a playoff series, it would be the Florida Panthers. And I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of weird similarities. Like if we played the Panthers, that kind of feels similar in a way to when we played the Blue Jackets in 2018. Like that's a playoff matchup we've never had. We had never faced CBJ before that year. we've never faced Florida. So that's like one of those kind of interesting things. And I don't know, the Caps have been screwed so many times when we like win the President's Trophy or when we're the first overall seed and then we lose to whoever like sneaks in. I just feel like one of these times it's got to be us doing that to somebody else. And I can see it happening with the Cats.
It feels like in the East, the two teams nobody really wants to play are the Hurricanes and the Bruins, right? Because you just know exactly what you're going to get. There's no like question mark about maybe they show up. They're fucking showing up.
So why don't we just have them play each other? That way one of them's gone.
Hey, I mean, it might. And then
that's kind of what I want with the Penguins and the Rangers. I want you guys to play in the first round because then one of you's gone after the first round, no matter what.
Well, on the flip side, I think for teams in the East that you want to play right now, I would be salivating to play the Penguins. They look like dog shit. And I would also say I'd be salivating to play, I shouldn't say salivating, but I would be fine playing the Panthers. Because like you said, they've got the weight of the world on their shoulders and not a ton of playoff experience.
Yep. No, I actually would totally take the Penguins. I feel good about our matchups against them this year.
Shut up. All right, moving on to hot teams. So around the league, hot. We got the St. Louis Blues. They've won their last 5 in a row. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10, and they are scoring at a great rate right now.
And Nick decided to bench Ville Husso today for whatever fucking reason.
Because he's already down a point. That's
I know this guy's psychic or something. I don't know what the hell you knew that I didn't, but
St. Louis is also 5-0 on the puck line in its last 5 games. So definitely keep an eye out on that. Surprise, surprise, the next hot team, the Florida Panthers. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They have 30 wins and 6 losses at home this season. That is nuts. And they've won their last 7. Over under at 7 doesn't seem to phase anybody.
That's got to be a record or something, right?
It has
30 and 6. That has got to be some sort of record, or at least like last 10 years record or something like that.
Or going back to like original 6, where like Montreal just wouldn't lose at home or Toronto wouldn't lose at home or something like that.
And then the who's not team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, unfortunately, they are 3-6-1 in their last 10. Malkin sussied the next 4 games. Jari is looking very shaky as of late. He's 1-5 in his last 6 starts. I saw a tweet the other day that came out from a guy named Jake. His name's just Jake, but he's like a big Pens Twitter guy. Jari over the last 3 seasons has played pretty darn well up until the trade deadline. And then once trade deadline happens, his numbers plummet. It's like he feels the pressure coming or something. I don't know what.
So you're having
turn it around.
Goalie problems?
You know what? We are having goalie problems, but I'm going to die on this sword. I got faith in Tristan. I think he can turn it around. I think he's got a lot to prove.
Welcome to the club, my friend.
I think he's got a lot to prove. The difference is mine isn't like, a psychopath Russian or Czech goalie, so I'm a little more confident.
I am curious from the fans, like maybe we can get some folks to tap in and comment on our IGs or something. Maybe we'll run a poll on IG, but I'm curious what people would say. Who would you feel more confident going into the playoffs with, the tandem of Jari DeSmith or the tandem of Sammy and Vanacek? I actually don't know what I would say right away. I have to think about it.
That is a very good question because, one, you're looking at one that's like, it's a coin flip at this point. The other one, you're looking at a definite 1A and a definite 1B.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe a little, but I think Jari might be the best out of the 4 listed there, but I think your backups are a little stronger. Yeah. But let's move on to trends here real quick. Toronto is 5-0 straight up in its last 5 games at home. The total has gone over in 13 of Washington's last 16 games. That's why I got Washington over tonight against Philly. Carter Hart and net. Not quite our Martin Jones cold dog shit on a winter morning, but it's close enough. The total has gone under in 10 of Pittsburgh's last 14 games. Not a lot of people would predict that, but it's true. The Islanders are 7-1 straight up in their last 8 at home. The Ottawa Senators are 5-1 on the puck line in their last 6 games. The total has gone over in 12 of Detroit's last 13 at home, in 6 of their last 7 overall. Jacob Verana is fucking sick.
By the way, so do you guys know who has been personally training Moritz Seider throughout his entire rookie season?
Nick Lidstrom.
Does it make sense now?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's sick.
He said he's a freak. When Nick Lidstrom calls a kid a freak of nature, that's when you know, like, oh, he's that guy.
Also, speaking of Vrana, today is actually the 1-year anniversary, I believe, of that trade, the Vrana and Mantha trade. I saw a lot of Caps Twitter people losing their minds about like putting up all the stats that are like, look how much better Vrana's been since this trade and Mantha, blah, blah, blah. But I saw one comment that says it all. It's like, yeah, but Mantha's still better for our team, which I agree with. So
wait till playoffs come, right? Especially if you draw the Bruins. 10 out of 10 times give me Anthony Mantha over Jake Vrana in a big
Straight
physical
up.
fuck you
Straight
series.
up.
I know what you're saying. Vrana low-key had some great numbers against the Bruins, but 100% Mantha for the size, for the presence. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, he's got, yeah. I mean, they both have 6 shots, but I just feel like as a playoff
just fits
guy,
in with that. All the Caps guys are big old son of a bitches that finish their hits. Like that's the name of the game with the
old
Caps.
guys rule. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Minnesota is 8-1 straight up in their last 9 at home. The total has gone under in 5 of Seattle's last 6 games. The total has also gone under in 8 of Tampa Bay's last 9 games on the road. And our final stat, Vegas is 6-1 straight up in its last 7.
They're catching heat again. I know they've been cold, but they're making the push. And I think there's a chance that Stone could be back tonight, by the way, to Zip Caps. I know they were talking about bringing him back tonight. I don't think he's played since early February, like around
February 8th.
Okay. And hasn't really played a ton all season. So if they get in and he's well rested and 100%, who knows?
Dude, I got a weird feeling that VGK is pulling some bullshit. They're going to barely sneak in and beat Dallas. They're going to end up getting Calgary round 1 or maybe Colorado. But if they get Calgary, if I'm I think Colorado would handle them because I think Colorado is ready to make a push. If I'm Calgary, I'm shaking in my boots because I think Vegas could give them a run for their money.
I don't
fully
know.
Healthy with Stone.
Kind of decided in my head that Calgary is like the team from the West that I'm like just excited to watch play in the playoffs. So I'm just going to tell myself that they're going to go far and like do well, but
Sam, I'm with that. Also, I feel like if Vegas gets in, they're losing right away. I don't think that team is any good straight up. Like I just don't think they're a good team.
Are you taking the bias out of this or like what? If they get Stone back, they're a good team.
I understand that on paper they are, but there's something like I haven't seen them play like really threatening, consistent hockey all year. Like I just don't feel like
consistency is what's missing for them this year.
There's something like they don't scare me at all. Which
if Vegas plays Calgary in the first round, odds maker Harry series price, I would give the Flames like minus 180 or somewhere around there, and Vegas plus 150-ish, maybe 160.
Sounds about right.
That's fair. I mean, you have to account for the Jacob Markstrom factor in there.
Exactly.
If those are the odds, I will happily take my money on the Knights. I really would. Not saying I think I'm sold on that happening, but for the value,
for value,
how good that team is,
that I can live with.
I would do that.
By the way, Robin Lehner did delete his Twitter the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that.
He did. Yeah.
Good for him. People suck.
Focused. 0 dark 30, as the athletes say.
Well said.
Around playoff time.
Yeah.
But you guys got anything else you want to add here? I know Western playoff picture's heating up, so by next week we should have an idea.
We should have a good idea of what that's going to look like. So I'm excited for it. I love just tuning into that and forgetting about the problems I have in the East. So
it is fun at the end of you watch a frustrating Caps playoff loss and you're like, God damn it, I hate this sport. And then you're like, but the Oilers are playing the Flames.
But it's exciting.
It's like,
come on.
This doesn't matter, but it's fun. Yeah.
It's so true.
If we don't get a Battle of Berta playoff series, I'll probably just like die.
No, we need it.
For lock of the week, not that I'm saying this is a lock, but Caps Leafs on Thursday in Toronto. Give me over 7.5 or 8. I'm down with it.
Your over's already looking good tonight. It's 2-1 Caps.
Let's go. Huge. Also worth noting, Vegas plays Calgary on Thursday, April 14th this week. So that should be a nice little preview if we get one.
That's good.
But other than that, I got nothing, fellas. Solid epi.
No, that's it. Excited for what's coming in the next couple of weeks here. Excited to get up to Milwaukee and hang out with Mac and with Jackson. And yeah, we're looking forward to it.
The one thing I will add is that my beer league team made the playoffs because everybody makes the playoffs.
Nice.
But our first playoff game is this weekend on Saturday. And I believe if we win, then I think our next one would be the following weekend. So there's a potential
the
that
Beer Barons.
I don't know who it would be. Wow, it's 3-1 Caps. This over is definitely going to hit.
Yeah, Faravari.
Yeah, there's a potential that y'all could be in town to watch one of my playoff beer league games. So
I feel so bad for you.
BBK give me a BBK pregame and then
God.
hit the. Oh, I can't wait to get the blue bat. My God.
I don't know if like your beer league has ever had someone like have fans kicked out for like body painting themselves up on the glass, but they're about to. So
I'm sorry, that Marty goal was filthy. That little stutter step, my goodness.
Should we make Jackson do body paint?
Honestly, yeah.
It's on the podcast now, so it's happening.
That's his like final exam of the.
Here's your final exam for the internship. Do this or you don't get course credit.
Do this and I'll fill out the survey and say you did good.
Alrighty, before we end up getting him fired or expelled.
Or getting ourselves in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Appreciate the love and support. And without further ado,
class dismissed.